Thanks, Doug, for meeting for an update. It's been very nice to see just kind of all the updates from the building on social and via email, and then also physically touring the building lately and just actually seeing the progress that's being made. It's very exciting. There's a buzz in the air about the building, and I think in the neighborhood too, a lot of people that live in the surrounding blocks are kind of saying, oh, it's almost to completion, or there's, you at least topped out, and there's a lot of exciting things going on. So wanted to have you on here to kind of speak to that and just give everyone a general update as to where First Light is, and then also maybe just start with a recap of the project in general for those who are new to it.
Yeah, of course. Well, thanks for having me. I always look forward to these updates. It's great to be able to talk about First Light and give an update. It's been a long time coming. I know that there's a lot of patient buyers and a lot of eager prospective buyers too. So we're excited to finally be at this last lap towards the finish line. So yeah, just to recap, the building First Light is developed by Westbank. They're a developer based out of Vancouver. And if you've been to Vancouver, they are responsible for the majority of those incredible, beautiful buildings that are built up there. So we're excited that they have chosen Seattle as their first city in the U.S. to start developing in and bringing some of that beautiful architecture to our city. So yeah, First Light, it's a 48-story condo high-rise, 459 homes altogether. We launched back at the end of 2018, beginning of 19. So it's been a minute. We've obviously had a pandemic to work through and 9 months of a concrete strike, so it's caused some delays. But we're excited to finally get near completion. We've pre-sold over 70% of the building, which is quite amazing when you think about it, because that's a little over 325 contracts out of 459 homes.
Yeah.
Buyers that are under contract. So, and the retention has been outstanding. I think everyone who has purchased a home at First Light recognizes the value and how special of a building this is going to be in Seattle. So definitely a lot of excitement in the air.
It's been great. I mean, I'm really excited to kind of see the final product. And I will say, even the finishes in the walkthroughs that we have done are very top notch. So do you want to kind of speak to maybe price ranges where you're at, and then any other tidbits of just where you guys are, looking at going the rest of the year?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, so as far as price ranges are concerned, even though we only have a little over 25% of our inventory left for sale, we still have a great variety of homes to choose from. We have everything from 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom, a couple of sub penthouses, and then one penthouse remaining. So as far as the 1-bedroom homes are concerned, those would start in the mid 600s. We have a really neat urban 2-bedroom design that has been super popular, especially for investors. It's a very compact, efficient floor plan that allows for a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom layout. And those ones start in the mid $900,000 range. The next step up from there would be our 2-bedroom corner floor plan. Obviously, those being so unique with the wraparound balconies, the sliders at the corners that slide away from each other, giving you that free floating extension of your living room to your outdoor space. Those have been very popular. We're coming down to the remaining few corner homes. Those ones would start in the $1.3 million range. And then we do have 3-bedroom sub penthouses and penthouses as well. Going back to building, I thought I might share just a quick little video with you. I know as part of the construction update, I'm sure so many people want to know where we're at with construction, how far things are along, and what the building even looks like right now, if you haven't been around the block recently. So I wanted to include this image here just to show you where we started. So it was a parking lot. We built 2 sales pavilions that were our sales center, where we showcase some vignettes of the finishes. So this is what that corner looked like at 3rd and Virginia Street. Here's the sales pavilions here. And then we'll just take a look at some of the construction views. Again, 48 stories. You can see there the cantilevered pool with some of the scaffolding on there. It has since been removed. So right now, when you're in the 46th floor gym, the wraparound gym, floor-to-ceiling glass windows, you're looking all the way through underneath that pool out to the Puget Sound, with views out all directions, actually. Incredible east-facing views of the city, Lake Union, the Space Needle, obviously. That pool deck is actually even with the Space Needle terrace.
Oh,
So it's
really?
pretty interesting to get out on that same view level.
Hmm.
Now, we had installed the pool and one of the circular jacuzzis before this jacuzzi was going in. But pretty neat to see the face of the building there. Just such a unique design with so much balcony space. Every single home in the building comes with a really large balcony with sliding glass doors from every room that gives you access to that balcony. I track a lot of buildings everywhere from New York to Los Angeles, San Francisco, Miami, Tampa, and I have yet to see such a beautiful, um, clean looking building like this, where you have balconies on every single home wrapping around every floor of the tower. And that's really what they wanted to go for. They wanted to create a building with clean, simple lines, a very minimalist type feel, to speak to this quiet luxury that everyone is talking about and everyone wants to be part of, and really resonates with the Pacific Northwesterners too. So I think that's, one of the reasons why it's been so well received by Seattle. But not just Seattle. It's amazing the amount of phone calls I get from cities around the country that have heard about First Light. They want to be part of it. It's going to be such an iconic, especially this pool level here. It's going to be such an iconic figure in the city skyline, that no one's ever seen before. Unless, you compare this to something like the Marina Bay Sands Casino Hotel, where you have that infinity pool looking out over the entire city. But to offer these amenities at the top three floors of the tower is just, I mean, it's very thoughtful for the developer to do that, because it gives every single homeowner in this building the opportunity to feel like they're living in a penthouse, being up on that 46th, 47th, 48th floors of the tower, being able to spend any part of the day there, but then, be able to drop into your home and have that sanctuary right at the base of all these amenities.
Yeah. And, speaking to the outdoor space, it's almost like, there are other buildings that have outdoor space, but I feel like because of the way it stretches the length of the home and because of the sliders and the floor to ceiling glass, it feels like a true extension of your home. So it will be more kind of usable in that aspect, and you'll want to use it and you'll want to make it a part of kind of your interior exterior living, day-to-day living space.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And for a lot of our floor plans, they are very efficient. They're all very square floor plans, so they're going to live and feel more bigger than the actual square footage on paper. But with those balconies, yeah, it makes it all very usable. Having covered the balconies there, having covered balconies to where you can actually entertain, have seating out there on the balconies and be able to enjoy that space.
Yeah. Yeah, the other thing with the pool, it was funny when, the talks of First Light first came out and the renderings or whatnot, there was a lot of people that were saying that, oh gosh, that'll never happen, or the city won't allow that, or, what have you. So it's fun to also see that that's, coming to fruition. It's actually real, and it is going to
Yeah.
be one of those kind of, um, it's going to be like a little superstar of, the downtown roof decks. It's going to be like the best one, right, of downtown, just because it does
Yeah.
offer such
Yeah.
a gorgeous views and the amenity spaces with the pool and just things we've elevating our condo standard, I guess, if you will.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, you bring up an interesting point about that pool. We actually just filled up the pool and jacuzzis a couple of days ago to test the amount of water and how that was from an engineering standpoint, the weight and everything passed.
Good.
But yeah, it's one of those things. When I got brought on by Westbank, I toured through all their buildings in Vancouver and really got to know the ethos of the company, what they
Mhm.
deliver, and how much these buildings mean to not only them but the consumer. So it's been great to be part of a project where I've had 100% confidence in them the entire time, and they're really delivering on everything that we've been selling. So yeah, it
Yeah.
it it puts you at ease as the salesperson, that's for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And even as someone who's visited, with you guys up there,
Mhm.
and seen and toured all the other amazing projects and properties and the feedback from other residents and just kind of there's a presence of being very proud of the buildings that they're being built and investing into the communities and pulling in the arts and architecture and really highlighting those things that I think again is something that not a lot of developers do, and definitely not something that we've definitely seen in our market. So,
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
yeah,
and we sure have appreciated your support. You've sold a few
for
homes in the
sure.
building, and in fact, most recently last week. So
Hmm.
congratulations.
Yeah,
It's always exciting to hear when you have a buyer because the transaction process is so smooth with you.
oh,
It's amazing how you can make every client feel like they're your only one.
yeah,
So it really helps from the seller standpoint as well.
yeah. You purchased in the building too, didn't you?
I did, yes.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
that kind of also does speak to kind of how confident you are in the project. And I know a few other industry colleagues too that are definitely
right,
familiar with downtown Seattle, and the condo inventory also invested in the building too. So what'll
right,
be very unique, I also about First Light is that it's coming out at a time in which there's not a lot of other new construction inventory, and actually it'll be on the last the last new construction really for condos. Other than I know Greystone is in well, Greystone's completed, right? Or closer to completion. We're talking
right. Mhm.
through still kind of in the pre-sale phase, but completing later on this year. Really, there's no other projects that are tailing behind First Light that we have. I don't, you could correct me if I'm wrong if you know of
Oh
anything in the
yeah,
pipeline, but I haven't seen anything at all.
you're exactly right. In fact, in terms of completion, we'll start rolling out closings towards the end of spring, late to end of year
Mhm.
2024. And after we're completed, I don't know of any other building that has plans to go up anytime soon. And even if they did, it's going to take at least 4 or 5 years for
Yep.
another completed project. So it really does tighten the inventory in Seattle, but it makes being able to purchase a condo right now all the
Mhm.
more, all the more reason to, I guess, I should
Yeah,
say.
I
I
think
think
so
it's a
too.
great opportunity, especially at First Light, to buy into this project before it's completed, and then everyone wants to move in.
Yep. Yep. No, I hear you. I definitely, and we see that a lot. And, the buyer, you do want to see what you're getting. So, it does make sense for the psychology of the buying process of someone wanting to see it. But
Mhm.
by the time that it's completed, there could be some of the added demand and then a pressure on pricing that maybe went up. And you guys have done a
Yeah.
couple price increases throughout the years too.
Yeah.
Um,
Mhm.
yeah, so it's better always to jump in now and kind of take that risk, and you'll reap the reward of that risk. But later on, you never know
Yeah, that's true.
if you'll get that floor plan or whatnot. And you've sold out a lot of stacks too that have been the
Right.
most desirable stacks. Um,
Hmm.
so it'll happen for sure.
Yeah, and we still have a tremendous opportunity to sell pre-sale. We can work with buyers too. We recognize that there's different needs in terms of how those terms look in a contract, so we can be very accommodating and creative with how we get there. So I always recommend that people make an offer.
Mhm.
It's one of those things where you shouldn't always take for face value what you might think prices would be, because I know we can arrive to some deals that make sense for both parties.
Mhm.
And just like you found out last week, we got to a great spot.
Mhm.
So yeah, there's definitely still a lot of opportunity to buy pre-sale.
Yeah, definitely. Can you talk about, just popped in my mind, the commercial spaces downstairs in the office, that
Yeah,
part of the project?
sure. Yeah, those first 7 floors of the tower are dedicated to commercial space. So the first floor being retail, it's 2 stories high with these incredible panoramic windows that are going to give the most amazing presence to that 3rd and Virginia Street intersection. There's 3 separate paths. They haven't released names for any of the tenants yet, but I know that the plan is to have like a restaurant there on the corner, coffee shop. So we'll see how those evolve. The 6 floors above there's about 120,000 square feet of office space. And then up on that 7th floor office space, there's actually a terrace for the office tenants to be able to enjoy. But what's interesting to point out is that both the lobbies are totally separate from each other. So the commercial tenants would enter off of Third Avenue through their lobby. They have their own dedicated elevators. I think there's 3 of them.
Mhm.
And then the residential lobby would be off of Virginia Street. And there are 5 high-speed elevators just dedicated for the residents. So it's nice to be able to have that separation. There's even separation in the parking garage too.
Mhm.
And I should point out that with parking right now, we can actually offer to sell a parking stall with every single home that we have remaining. So it's a very healthy parking ratio, 2 parking stalls for every 3 homes in the building. And that's just unheard of in Seattle.
Yeah,
So
really. Yeah.
It's very reassuring if you need a parking stall.
Yeah. And you have some options for storage too.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, you
Hmm.
can purchase storage units as well.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, but it creates such a neat presence there at that intersection. The glass artist John Hogan, who we commissioned to collaborate with the architect and Westbank, they designed these glass discs surrounding the exterior of the podium level on the Virginia Street side and Third Avenue side. It's going to give this public art type piece to the city of Seattle. I think there's going to be so many passersby who just want to be able to see it, capture different parts of the day where the light hits it and see how the light reflects and absorbs through those discs. So yeah, there's so many elements to this building that are just so thoughtful and different from your traditional manufactured square footage with the
Yeah.
buildings.
And so the discs actually are installed on I think the Third Avenue side, aren't they?
They are, yeah, they're
Yeah.
installed on the Third
They're-
Avenue side. They'll do it on the Virginia Street side once the elevator comes down,
Yep.
which should actually be here in the next 2 or 3 weeks. We'll bring the cranes down, and then everything at that point will just go through the interior elevators.
Sweet. That'll be
And that
great.
helps from a hard hat tourist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be nice. Yeah, I like the fact that the lobby's off of Virginia Street. I think that that's going to add, that intersection on 4th and Virginia where you have a Scala there and you have the hotel,
Yeah.
Lola, of course, and then Tom Douglas's other restaurant, Serious Pie, and now Neb's, which is or Neb, which is a new
Mhm.
restaurant that went to the old Serious Pie space. And then you
Yeah.
have just, across the alley there will be the entrance then for First Light. I think it'll have a very like a neighborhood vibe and
Yeah.
feel.
Mhm.
That'll be kind of almost inclusive of Fourth and Virginia versus it
Right.
being straight up, Third and Virginia feeling. So I
Yeah.
like the fact where it's centered and on that block and on that side in particular.
For sure. Yeah. And I like to think of that Virginia Street corridor there running east to west as the epicenter of downtown. It
Hmm.
really intersects every one of the neighborhoods through Belltown, the shopping district, Denny Triangle, even, quick jump over to South Lake Union, the waterfront. So it's pretty amazing every time I go to the building how I'm just within arm's reach of every part of the city that I want to be at, whether it's Pike Place or the waterfront. Uh,
Hmm.
the light rails a block away. Even Whole Foods is just a few interesting blocks away as you go through the Amazon spheres and the campus
Hmm.
through there. So yeah, we're ecstatic about the location, everything that it has to offer there. So yeah, I think it's
And one thing too with the location and going down to the waterfront, I don't know if a lot of people are seeing now the Lenora Street, which is one street over from Virginia, is a straight shot right to the waterfront
right.
there,
Hmm.
which is kind of a nice. It never used to be like that because of the viaduct. It would just drop there, and then you'd have stairs you could go down. But it's more of a pedestrian way of getting to the waterfront itself. And then the
Hmm.
the new waterfront project where the walkway from the market down to the aquarium, then down to the waterfront is also going to be a very cool project when it's all completed.
Yeah.
That I think will be a major, way for us runners to get down to the
Mhm.
waterfront or, walk on the waterfront or enjoy that space when it's all completed.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, that waterfront, it's something we've been talking about for a few years now. So it'll be nice once it's finally completed. But I think
Hmm.
what a lot of people don't realize, especially for those who don't live in the downtown core, is the amount of waterfront space there is. There's just miles of waterfront stretching along Alaska Way down to the Monument Park, yeah, and even on the other side, South Lake Union, all wrapping around Lake Union, the Burke Gilman Trail. You have that all within reach, and it's pretty amazing if you want to be near the water and have very walkable, runnable, bikeable spaces too.
Yep, definitely. Yeah, I think there's a 9 mile loop somewhere there that you can go waterfront all the way to, South Lake or waterfront, Fremont, like cut over, then come towards like South Lake Union on that side. And it's like
Yeah,
very easy, always on a trail and, just kind of loops you around, which is great.
right. I'd
Yeah.
probably last about 3 miles on my feet,
Yeah, I haven't done that
but
in a
it's nice to know there's
long,
nine
long
there.
time, but it is there. Yeah. One thing also to touch on is the finishes, because again, I mentioned just a little bit, I was very surprised to walk in, when you guys had the sales pavilion there, back in the day, and you're able to see actually the finished quality or whatnot. It's one thing to see it, but then when you see it actually being installed and actually, full bathrooms and full kitchens and the quality materials that are being used, I think that there's something to definitely be said for that, because that is definitely a higher end quality that you'd see more so in a custom home than you're seeing definitely in a mass, community or multifamily, highest end apartment to, the existing inventory that we have right now in the condo community.
Right. Yeah. And those finishes are just stunning. Everything looks so good from the B&B Italia cabinetry to the Miele appliances throughout every home, the minimalist color schemes, the white oak hardwoods with the architectural exposed concrete throughout the homes. Yeah, there's so many subtle features. And just to point out a couple, like the triple pane windows, the automatic privacy shades, blackout
Yeah.
shades, the bedrooms, just everything was so well thought out that if you wanted an upgrade or any bell and whistle that you might have to request in other buildings, everything's just built into the home, and it turned out beautiful.
Yep. Yeah, I think the shades are a big thing too, because a lot of times buyers buy their homes, right? And then they have to drop anywhere between, 5 on the low end, but really we're talking for electronic shades, 15,000, plus.
Yeah.
And for that to all be integrated and there when they move in, I think it's just a complete bonus.
Yeah.
So, and all the
And
built-ins of the closets and all that sort of thing
yeah.
too.
Yeah, and we are going to actually complete a model here pretty soon. It's unit number 809. It's a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom southwest corner home where we'll furnish it with B&B Italia furniture and create a space where people can see and understand what the finished product is like, even while the rest of the building is under construction. And there will be a time here when we'll showcase that to the public. We want to make sure we can get everyone in the building at some point. And that may be a few weeks from now where we'll host an open house like that. In the meantime, demand to see the building has been so high, and I would love to get everyone in, but we just don't have the bandwidth as it is an active construction site. So what we're really suggesting to people right now is if you're interested in purchasing a home at first light, if you're prepared to do that with pre-sale, then we really want to go over all of the preliminary steps first, understanding which floor plan you like the best, understanding what prices are available, and engaging your lender to the point where you're ready to select your home and move forward. All you need to do now is see it. So that's what we have time for right now when we're getting in the building, and there's a lot of things we can do leading up to that, whether it's through a Zoom tour or a personal meeting. But yeah, we really, I guess more than anything, I just want to make sure that everyone knows, from buyers, brokers, people who are curious, we'll get you in the building and we would love to have you, but it's probably going to be a few weeks from now.
Yeah. You don't want to get stuck on the 30th floor for an hour because the elevator just keeps going up.
Exactly.
In there.
Yep. And it's a long way down if you're taking the stairs.
Yeah, you don't want to hit it on the shift in which everyone's trying to go home either.
Right.
Good. All right. Well, we'll look for updates in the future, just in terms of, the walkable tours, or being more people able to come and visit and see kind of how the progress has been made. But like I said, it's definitely been top of mind of a lot of the residents downtown, a lot of people moving to Seattle, kind of, looking at specific new construction. And so it's very, very exciting to see that it's actually come to this point. And yeah, love working with you and getting these updates for everyone. And if everyone has any questions at all, feel free to reach out so that we can kind of assist and guide you in the way that you need to go.
All right. Well, thanks, Ashley. Very excited to bring this building to the market, and excited to see how things progress over the next few months.
Yep, for sure. All right. Well, thanks, Doug. I really appreciate it.
All right. Thank you.
Yep. Take care.
All right. We'll see you.